What's going on, everybody? It is Wayne joining you guys today from the Power Program. Today we're going to be talking about education. So everyone knows it is really important to have an education because education gives us the knowledge that we need to further ourselves in life. Without an education, there's a lot of things you're going to be hindered from, and that you're going to lack and you're going to be withheld from due to not having an education. Back in the day when we were growing up, it was always good to get your high school diploma. Well, now it's 2020 and a high school diploma is really nothing. Now people are looking for some sort of college, some sort of secondary education, post-secondary education. You want to know what post-secondary education is? It's what you do after your high school diploma or your GED. So, we always ask, like, why do you think it's important to further your education? So I'm going to do a pros and cons chart on what is important of furthering your education. And before we go into that, we're going to talk about the different types of educations that can be furthered. So, for instance, the GED is an alternative for your high school diploma. That's not post-secondary education, but post-secondary education, people all automatically assume, well, once you have your high school diploma and your GED, you have to go to college. Well, that's not the case. They have trade school. A trade school, you specialize in a certain craft, you get certificates, you get certified in that craft, and you can take that craftsmanship and go on to your career. So a lot of people go for welding, they go for automotives. There's so many different trade schools that you can go for. You would just have to look it up. Other people do college. They go and get associate's degrees. Some of them don't even get associate's degrees. They can just go get certificates as well, or they go get credits and they never wind up finishing. But you want to try to have a goal. So if you are going to go to post-secondary, you want to complete that. So whatever you decide to do, just make sure that's what you want to do, because it can be expensive. Trade school can be expensive. You want to make sure that that's what you want to do. You don't want to start something you're not going to finish. That is the whole part about, that's another major point of goals. The same with college. You don't want to start college. I know it becomes difficult. If you have to, take a break, come back to it. But you want to at least gain something from what you're putting your time and effort into, rather it be associates, a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD if you want to continue. But just make sure that you're trying to complete that. And so, pros of furthering your education. I always say my main thing was I wanted more money in my field. So I knew if I went to get a degree, I would have a better chance of higher paid jobs than a person without a bachelor's degree. So higher wages is what I would put. You can have more knowledge. So when you're furthering your education, increasing knowledge is always good. Knowledge will carry you very far in life. I don't want to jump back and forth, but I do know one thing of pros is it can put you in debt. So you may have to take out loans for trade school, loans for college, so it can incur debt. Another con can be you may not work in that field. So for instance, I went to college for a bachelor's in management, in business management. I am now in the social work field, not a manager. So, with that being said, the only reason why I say that can be a con, so basically I went to further my education in a field that I'm not working in. So I can apply some of my management skills to my position. However, I basically paid for a degree that I'm not utilizing. I can utilize it and I will utilize it, but I'm not currently utilizing it. So to me, to some people, that could be looked at as a waste of money. So that's why I can say because I didn't have to get a degree to work in what I'm working in, and especially not a business management degree. Do you have any pros of furthering your education?
Better living.
So better living, and what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by better living, with a proper education, you are able to get a higher paid job, which, like Wayne said, is higher wages, which will put you in a better situation to live better than.
And I want to say you'll get a higher status as well.
Yes.
So what I want to say is a lot of jobs, like for management jobs, they require degrees. They require a lot of government jobs, a lot of higher tier jobs. So when you go into the level of management in the corporation, the higher level jobs require further education. When you're just the base level employee, a lot of them don't require too much furthering education, but the higher the education, the more opportunity. So I guess a larger job opportunity.
Yep, all right.
So I'm gonna put more opportunities in general.
Yep.
Do you have any cons?
Yes.
Yes.
My con is less money, depending on the type of status of education. So when I say that, let's say high school diploma, knowing that we now live in 2020.
Well, we're talking about post-secondary. So
Post-secondary.
Is there any cons, like any bad things of seeking further education? Like what would you consider? I said obtaining loans, not working in your field. I really can't think of
I can't think of it. Those sound like the only two that really will be a con. Everything else, but
yeah, I think that's for my from our point of view, furthering education is very good. There's not too many cons, for instance. So when deciding on furthering education, like we wanted to talk about what motivates us to further the education. So for like I was saying, what motivated me was I knew I wanted to live a certain type of life. I knew I wanted to make a certain type of money. I knew that would be obtainable by getting a higher degree. So what pushed me? I was money driven. A lot of people are money driven. A lot of people are status driven. A lot of people just want to feel degrees put them on a different level. So they do it for that. Some people do it based on their parents. Some people don't even have like, oh, well, I'm the first child to go to college, so I'll go. Or, oh, my parents wanted me to go to college, so I want to make them proud, I'll go. So it really what motivates you, and you should want to use something that motivates you personally. I like to use other people's motivations as well, but if you're doing it to make your parents happy or someone else happy, it may not always work out well in the end. You may not finish. You may get upset and don't want to make your parents happy anymore. Then you don't even want to complete the goal because that wasn't your goal. It was their goal. So you want to make sure that you are making these goals personal to you and making sure that these are goals that you want for yourself, not that someone wants for you. And you need to know what is important that motivates you. And why is it important that motivates you? It's important that I make more money because, like I said, I want to live a certain type of life. I want to be able to afford things that I wasn't able to. My parents weren't able to provide for me. I want to provide for my kids if I have them one day, or just for myself. I want to live a certain type of lifestyle. I know there's a certain way to go about it, and the way that I feel that it's possible to obtain it is more money. So that is my motivation. What's your motivation?
My motivation is definitely to further my education is going into making more money. I'm always about money and how to get money, and also trying to climb up the ladder to be the boss of something. So that is a good way to be the boss by furthering your education, especially for those who are in the business and marketing field trying to open up their own business, whether it's a hair business, making your own invention, opening a store. A lot of that has to do with furthering your education. So, yeah. And that's exactly what I am driven to do.
All right, so now we're going to start talking about setting goals. Okay? Because the way to obtain something is by setting goals. You want to go, you want to obtain higher, you want to get a higher wage, you have to set a goal on how you're going to do that. What are ways to do that? The ways to do that have to make sense. So what are some goals in your life?
My goals. Let's see.
Well, I'll give you some goals in my life. I want to go and get my master's degree. I don't know what in yet, so I haven't completed. I haven't went down that route, but I do want to get my master's degree. I want to eventually own a home. I don't know if I want to build one, but I do want to own a home. I want to have a family. I do want to start a business, and I want to be able to one day make residual income. And I want to make money in my sleep. So there's a lot of things that I want to do. What do you want to do now?
Okay. I want to get my cosmetology license so that I can open my own hair business and so that I can further the weave industry with dreadlock extensions. They are coming. I also want to get a big old house in Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to work with children dealing with music. So I want to have the finances to open up my own art studio.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay, well, why is it important to set goals in order to obtain?
I think it's important to set goals because without goals, you're not going to really know where you're going or how to get to your destination.
I think that is perfect on what you said. You have to have a plan when you want to execute something. If you have no plan, things are done with discord. Nothing is organized. Nothing is in order. It's going to be all over. It's going to be very hard to obtain something if you have no clear path on how to obtain it. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. There's going to be mess ups. You don't want to do that. So instead, it's easier to make a goal, to plan it out. So when you're planning goals, you want to make sure that your goals are making sense. So in order to do that, we use a SMART chart. So the SMART chart is used in order for helping goals. I'm going to explain what each letter means and what they stand for. So SMART, S-M-A-R-T. The first word is specific. So you want to make sure your goal is specific. So I say, oh, I want to go to college. Well, that's not a specific goal. A specific goal is, oh, I want to obtain a bachelor's degree. Oh, I want to obtain an associate's degree. Saying I want to go to college isn't saying you want to finish. It isn't saying what you're going for. It's just very vague. You want to go to college. Okay. Well, what do you want to do in college? What do you want to do while you're there? What's the reason for you going? That's when you say, I want to go to college to obtain a degree. We'll make it even more specific. Well, what kind of degree? Because then that will determine how long you have to be there. What do you have to do? You want to be as specific as possible. I want to obtain an associate's degree. Okay, well now I know that when you want to obtain an associate's degree, I know what type of college to look for. I know how long you plan on being in college, which allows me to plan on what I'll need to prepare for college. So you want it to be specific so that it is a better chance of getting accomplished. The M stands for measurable. If you have a goal that you can never measure to see how far you are or how close you are to completing that goal, then that's not a good goal. You want to be able to know that you're making progress towards attaining that goal. So, for instance, if I want to go to college, okay, so if I want to go to college, I know I have to do a college application. I know I have to do my SATs. I know I have to do all this stuff. I have to apply. I have to wait for a I have to wait for stuff to come back. Say I want to go to college for my associate's degree. I know that I have to be done. I have to do a certain amount of courses a semester. I have to pass those courses in order to stay on path. So I'll be able to measure, am I on my way to obtain my associate's degree in the first year? Did I complete, say I need 120 credits to graduate. Did I complete 60 credits? I think for associates you need 60 credits to graduate. Did I complete the first 30 credits of this year? Did I pass all of my core classes? Did I pass all of the classes I need to graduate? That will be able for me to measure, okay, I'm halfway through obtaining my goal. If I just set a goal that I want to go to college, how am I measuring anything? Because I don't even know what actually is the, like I said, the goal. Another better example is like, I want to have more of a social life. That's not a measurable goal. You can't measure that. A better goal would be, I want to join a club at school. Did you apply for that club? Have you asked for interest meetings? That can measure, are you on your way to getting into that club? Are you on your way to your goal? The A stands for attainable. So, is your goal possible to reach? Can you actually reach your goal, or is this something you just made up? For instance, if I woke up and said I want to be a trillionaire by the end of this year, that is not an attainable goal. Why? Because there's billionaires that have been working for years and years that still have not reached $1 trillion. $1 trillion is not attainable. Now, if I said I wanted to save $1,000 this month, that's attainable. Why? Because, well, for everybody that's not attainable. But for some people, it is attainable because you'll just have to measure your, you have to limit your spending, you have to budget everything. But if you can afford to save $250 every week in 4 weeks, you would have reached $1,000. You'll be able to attain your goal. So make sure that it's attainable. If you say like, oh, I want to graduate, I want to get my bachelor's degree in 1 year, that's not attainable. You have to get 120 credits. The most amount of credits you can take a semester is 18 unless you're getting approved. They would never allow you to approve to take 30 credits a semester. That's the, well, you would have to do 60 credits a semester to get a bachelor's in 1 year. So that's not an attainable goal. You need to make sure that it's something that realistically you can meet. And not like, oh, anybody can meet it. It needs to be personable to you. If you know that you don't have the means or the resources to reach that goal in the time limit that you gave yourself, then you should not do it. That's not an attainable goal. It also should be a relevant goal. So that's what the R stands for. You should make sure that your goal is relevant to your current life. If I am out here, for instance, say I'm not a runner. Say my goal was I want to run a marathon. That has no relevance to my life because I'm not going to run no marathon. I don't run, period. I know that's not attainable. Number one, that's not attainable. Number two, it's not, I have no desire to run. Now, had I said, I want to work out. I want to attend a workout class at the gym twice a week. Okay, I want to lose weight. That's my goal in losing weight. I never wanted to run no marathon. But there's other ways I can lose weight. So that's how I'll go about it. So it has to be relevant into what you want to do. Like I said, it has to be a desire that you want to do that motivates you. Because if it's not, you're not going to complete it. You have to want to do it to complete it. That's just that. And as I was saying earlier, it needs to be attainable in a certain time period. So the T stands for time. There should have a time limit on obtaining that goal. You should set that goal. Each goal is different. You have short-term goals, long-term goals. Short-term goals is anything between a couple of weeks and a year. Anything over a year is a long-term goal. I think it's typically 3 to 5 years, but anything over a year is a long-term goal. Just make sure that when you are setting goals, that you do know that you're either setting a short-term goal or a long-term goal, so that you're not stressing yourself out and that you're not trying to do too much or you're not doing enough at all. Okay? And so like I was stating, like you guys should always plan out your life regardless of what you're doing. In 8 years, you should at least like look like, where do I want to be in the next 10 years, the next 8 years? Where do I want to be? When you find out where you want to be, you start setting goals on how to get there. Well, in this first year, I'll do this. In the second year, I'll do this. In the third year, I'll do this. And you should have a goal for each year until you get to that 8th year. Into the year 4, you should be halfway to your goal for year 8. You should be able to measure like, okay, I'm halfway through my 8 years. I should be halfway to my goal mark by now. If not, switch something around. If you need to, change the goal. Maybe it wasn't an attainable goal. Maybe it wasn't a relevant goal. Maybe it wasn't a specific goal. Alter the goal to make sure that you guys are meeting it. Diamond, where you want to be in 8 years?
In 8 years, I want to be, let's see, I want to be relaxing on vacation time because I'm the boss.
Relaxing on vacation time because you're the boss of your own company.
Yeah.
Using this SMART chart, how would you... So, you want to be the boss. That's specific.
That's
measurable. You said that's measurable. We're going to measure that. How are you going to measure that you're the boss? That you're on the road to becoming a boss?
Well, I'm going to further my education in the course that I need to take to make sure that I am becoming that boss.
Another way you can measure it is promotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, if you've been promoted, am I making it to the next level? Have I moved from lower level employee to maybe supervisor? Am I now like night shift supervisor? Am I assistant manager? Am I manager? That's ways you can measure it as well. Is it attainable? I think it's extremely attainable to become a boss of anywhere. Like, everybody had to start somewhere. You put in that time, that effort, that work. You show them you know what you're doing. You can definitely make it to the boss. It's relevant. I think it's very relevant to your life because the life that you want to live, Diamond, is not the person to take directions. So I think that's very relevant. And in 8 years, I think that is extremely, it's a long goal.
It's a long goal.
It's a long goal, but it's attainable. To become a boss, it doesn't happen overnight. So that's another thing. Like, when I say it needs to be timely, 8 years is perfect time for you to start at the bottom. If you ask me, I think it's more than enough time. I think that you can make manager of a position in 2 years if you're doing what you need to be doing. So to become the CEO, 8 years is more than enough time to do that, I believe. So that is what we have for you guys today. Make sure you guys are thinking, make sure you guys are putting a lot of thought into furthering your education, because while we guys are sitting out here doing nothing, there's a lot of online free courses, a lot of online classes. There's a lot of colleges, a lot of trade schools that are accepting people, law schools, grad schools, no GRE, no law schools, no LSAT, no SATs, no ACTs. Colleges are accepting people right now due to the coronavirus. So even though we are going through a pandemic, there's a lot of opportunities you can take advantage of if you do know your resources. So if you are looking to further your education, a quick Google search will definitely help you out a lot. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us again today, and you guys enjoy your weekend. Have a great one.